What is up, everybody? Happy New Year! It is 2018. Woohoo! I hope you're pumped. I'm sure you're pumped. It is a brand new year, right? Brand new, fresh, clean slate. A brand new beginning. So we're gonna begin the transition from the Christmas story, the mess, into what we will begin here this very next Saturday in 2018. And to kind of transition us, we are going to unpack the story of Bathsheba. And if you recall, from last Friday, we began the story of Bathsheba, not even really talking about Bathsheba, but actually talking about David. And if you recall, we said David actually, the only reason he was there in the kingdom and he has this exchange, this experience with Bathsheba that ultimately leads to an entirely different path, was because David wasn't out in battle doing what he was supposed to do. And for some of us, maybe in 2017, just thinking about that, we can think of things that we know we didn't do, but we should have. We didn't do the things that we know we should have done. We didn't have those conversations with those people that we know we should have. In 2018, we have the opportunity to begin fresh things that will build and encourage and strengthen our character. And we have this fresh, clean slate to stop doing those things that we've been doing. So it's brand new, clean slate 2018, and I'm pumped to begin this journey with you because I'm pumped about the things that I believe God has in store, not just for Perichoresis, but for youth ministry and for teenagers all over our planet. So this is what the scripture says. Now when evening came, okay, that's important to understand. It's at night. When evening came, David arose from his bed. So in other words, he was sleeping, or he should have been sleeping. When he arose from his bed, he got up and walked around the roof of the king's house. Now, nothing wrong here. It's his house, it's his palace, it's his prerogative. He can totally do this. But then it begins to get a little interesting. And from the roof, he saw a woman bathing. And the woman was very beautiful in appearance. Now, before we start to judge and have this idea of who this woman is, it's important to note David is getting up from bed when he really should have been sleeping. This woman that he sees bathing, she's doing it at her house on her roof, which I know for us in 2018 now sounds kind of weird, why would you do that? But at that time, in that culture, that's what they did. It was a very normal thing. But she is bathing on the roof at night. So in other words, she's not trying to be scandalous and whatever, she's trying to be private and discreet as you can in this situation. So the woman really is innocent and hasn't done anything wrong. And then the story continues and David sees this woman, sees that she is beautiful, and then David sends his servants to her house and asks the servants to go get her so that she can go and hang out with him in the palace. Now, don't want to be super R-rated or X-rated or whatever, but we can basically figure out, okay, let's just be plain. David didn't send his servants over to Bathsheba's house to have them come over for a birthday party. Okay, that's not what's happening, right? They're not having a New Year's party. Let's drink some punch and eat some cake and cookies and whatever and watch a movie and, watch the ball drop. That's not what David was doing. David had one thing on his mind. He wanted to sleep with Bathsheba, and that's it. He sees that she's beautiful. He sends his servants to Bathsheba's house and basically say, the king wants to sleep with you, so let's go. And before we start to think and cast judgment on Bathsheba, we need to understand something. When the king sends word that you are requested for his services, in these moments at that culture, you did not have the right to say no. You just do whatever the king said. So it's interesting, Bathsheba, again, she's innocent in this whole bathing situation. And then when it comes to going and hanging out with the king in his palace, she doesn't have even the authority or the right to say no. She has to. Which is interesting because in the story, the servants then say to the king, David, they say, dude, that's Uriah's wife. So even the servants pause the situation and be like, King, do you know what you're doing? that is not only someone who's married, but that is someone who's married to a leader in your military. And little reminder, he's out fighting battles for you, what you should be doing, but you're not. So now, think about it from Bathsheba's perspective. Her husband's away, gone in battle. She's worried about him, worried about his safety. He's been gone for a while. He's gonna be gone for a while. And then all of a sudden, some leaders from the king's court come over and say, hey, you gotta go hang out with the king, and you have no right to say no. Your heart kind of breaks for Bathsheba a little bit, doesn't it? This is a hard, awkward, emotional, painful thing for her. And again, what's interesting is that it is Bathsheba, the wife of Uriah, that Matthew specifically highlights. It is her family. It is her awkward, messy situation that Jesus said, I would choose to be a part of that family. So in 2017, if you ever felt hurt, if you ever felt alone, if you ever felt injustice was done to you, or that you were forced into some sort of situation that you didn't like, take courage. Because we have a God that chooses us and wants to come alongside us as we transition away from 2017 and look forward to a new, fresh experience in 2018. We'll continue the story tomorrow.